So, just a bad foreign policy and foreign influence day for Russia and Vladimir Putin. Putin is having to repeatedly deny claims that Moscow is overly reliant on China despite the strategic partnership between the two nations deepening over the past year. And it's become increasingly clear that it really is Russia relying more on China. Putin has said there is no military alliance, which is true, but admitted to military technical cooperation and mutual interests in business. Speaking on Russian state television, Putin dismissed the criticisms that he's received as coming from jealous people. He also referred to the two countries signing their no limits partnership in 2022, shortly before Russia invaded Ukraine. Well, there certainly are limits to the partnership, as China has provided very little to Russia. And during his recent meeting with Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping secured oil trade agreements and opportunities for Chinese business in Russia, but these heavily favor China more than Russia. And within 24 hours, of Xi Jinping's visit, a major Chinese logistics company said they're no longer shipping goods to and from Russia. So there certainly are limits, and it certainly seems like Xi Jinping is taking advantage of the relationship they have. Additionally, China has reminded Russia of its opposition to nuclear war. The comments coming out of Beijing came after Russia announced plans to deploy tactical nuclear weapons to its neighbors in Belarus and also create a storage facility that is supposed to be built by the end of July, or July 1st, rather. Putin's comments appear to undermine a position that he took with Xi Jinping just days earlier when the two leaders jointly opposed together in person deployment of nuclear weapons abroad to other countries. This, again, happened during Xi Jinping's visit to Moscow. Well, Putin lied, because he does that. But Putin preemptively dismissed concerns from the international community as well as potentially from China by saying his plans wouldn't violate any non-proliferation obligations because Russia is not giving Belarus the nuclear weapons, but rather just deploying Russian weapons in an allied territory and then teaching them how to use it, as well as the equipment to use it. I mean, come on now. China sees right through that just like the rest of us. Additionally, on the problem front for Russia, Russian ally and fellow Collective Security Treaty Organization member Armenia has signaled it will become a signer to the International Criminal Court. Now, the Collective Security Treaty Organization is the Russian version of NATO. It's far weaker and far more pathetic, but Armenia is a member of that. And Armenia has said, we're going to sign the International Criminal Court, which is a problem for Russia because Putin has been brought up on charges for war crimes pertaining to what he's doing in Ukraine, and the International Criminal Court is who brought those up. So if Armenia signs it, they're obligated to arrest Putin. And they said this after the warrants came out, so they knew full well what this meant. So Russia has come back and criticized the move, calling it absolutely unacceptable. And I mean, obviously that's what they would say, but they're clearly angry. They're losing a grip on even their most close military allies here. And Armenia's constitutional court published a decision on Friday that states the Rome Statute complied with the country's basic laws. And this means that they probably would end up arresting Putin if he came in, because they've made this decision after the fact, after the ICC investigation. This probably comes because Russia has refused to support or help Armenia despite ongoing violent conflict with Azerbaijan. What's the point of having a security treaty organization if Russia doesn't come to the aid of countries that are a part of it? It's supposed to be Russia's version of NATO, but it's really not. It really was just we can do this too for Russia, but it's really not anything of meaning, as we've seen when it comes to Armenia. And Armenia has realized that, and they're kind of hashing out who their friends really are at this point. And then finally, Hungary's parliament has approved Finland's bid to join NATO, with only Turkey remaining to ratify the application. The move brings Finland one step closer to becoming a full member of Western Military Alliance. However, Sweden's bid remains uncertain, as members of Hungary's governing party say they're going to wait for Stockholm to clear up lingering disagreements before a vote. These disagreements are obviously with Turkey. So Turkey has signaled they would accept Finland in, but they have yet to say anything about Sweden, once again demanding that Sweden turn over members of terrorist groups that Turkey has identified. And also, it's mostly optics. I think Turkey is going to not make any decisions until the election in Turkey. Erdogan feels vulnerable because of the situation with the earthquake, and whenever this Quran burning incident took place, it fueled more fire that Erdogan was more them than us in Turkey. And so waiting to see how that plays out. But another step forward, as Hungary has signaled that they will approve Finland's bid, or they not signaled, they actually have approved it, and they have signaled they would approve Sweden's bid, but they have to wait for Stockholm to clear up the disagreements that they're having with Turkey. And that's about it for Russia's foreign policy in the last 24 hours. It seems to be kind of collapsing around them. Even their limitless close friend, or whatever they called it, in China is taking a step back just after Xi Jinping's meeting. It seems like Xi Jinping got what he wanted and now is telling his people and his government to back away from Russia slowly. So we'll see where it goes.